Hello, today is now the afternoon and I thought I would take this opportunity of having a pretty lazy day to do a bit of a reading vlog. It is actually like 2 p.m. now, so it's properly the afternoon. There is a lot of productivity on YouTube, and I have to admit I love a good 5 a.m. wake up video. Never personally done the 5 a.m. wake up myself, but I also think it's good to show that you can have a relaxed day and still feel kind of productive. To put it in perspective, I woke up at about 10:30, 11, didn't really do much, had a bit run down, got dressed, put some makeup on, just did a bit of a tidy, nothing special, and then I had a chip butty. So pretty standard, lazy afternoon. But today we're just going to be very relaxed. As it's 2 p.m, my day is pretty much done. And we're just going to go for our daily walk in the park, and we're going to sit and read. In the last video I made, I talked about how I was really struggling with reading, and I still am. I just don't want to read fiction at the moment, even though, as I said, I'm reading Wolf Hall trilogy. I love those books. I still am struggling to read fiction. So I decided to look at my bookshelves and look at some non-fiction that I've got, because I love non-fiction writing. And I wanted to look at the books that I've half read or started and actually finished reading them. So I decided to pick up East West Street by Philippe Sands. This is a book about crimes against humanity and genocide and law, and those terms coming into our language and into our legal systems, based on the experiences of the Holocaust and the Nuremberg trials. I love history and I really find actually law quite interesting, so I know I'm going to really enjoy this. So this is my plan to start reading and see how much I can read today. Yesterday I started reading again a little bit by returning to A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. As you all know, she's one of my all-time favourite writers, and A Room of One's Own is one of my favourite ever essays. I've been really missing walking around London, and A Room of One's Own is basically the narrator walking around London and talking about the lack of education of women, lack of opportunities for women in Virginia Woolf's brilliant way. I might actually reread Mrs. Dalloway, because that is basically her walking around London and it is my favourite novel, so I think I might reread that one. But I really loved it. This is a folio edition, so this is the original cover that was designed by Vanessa Bell. So my plan is to read some East West Street, but now we're gonna have a cup of tea first, because obviously we're British and we can't do anything before having a cup of tea. So I'm gonna drink my cup of tea and then we're gonna go out to one of my favourite parks in our borough, and I'll take you around there. I might sit down and read, and then I'll catch up with you later. Blossom trees in this park are extraordinary. They are proper blossom, and actually today it was quite magical because all the blossoms kind of falling off, so you were kind of walking around and it felt like you were being people throwing confetti on you. I read about 50 pages of East West Street and I really love it so far. It's a biography of Lauterpacht, Hersch Lauterpacht, who brought in like crimes against humanity and genocide, the Nuremberg trials, but also with Philippe Sand's story of his grandfather Leon. They're both connected by a city called Lviv or Lemberg, and he's looking at the different lives of the two families, their relationships to each other, as in they never met but were in the same place in the geographical location, how it links them. You almost have this like academic biography of Lauterpacht from the perspective of someone, you know, who's an international human rights lawyer like Philippe Sands is, and then has this curiosity of his own family history and wanting to know more. Like there's a really poignant bit where he's noticing that I think it was his grandmother never smiled, and why that was, and how the silences around what they went through living in Poland and being Polish Jews. I've never read a book, I think, from this kind of perspective, looking at the history of the Holocaust and the run-up to the Holocaust, it from like a legal perspective. The book also highlighted parts of my knowledge that, you know, were lacking, especially after the First World War, when a policy was brought in to protect minorities in Poland, and how that was really like torn apart and ignored, and it brings up the question of kind of looking after the rights of the individual and the collective, and has already brought up a lot of personal questions, and I think it's going to be a good read. I'm now going to sit and read a bit more and drink my cup of tea, and then I might do a bit of baking. Sorry about the weird angle, but I quickly remembered that a couple of you had asked me about some more books to read in self-isolation. If you want to get really stuck into a big book, one of my favourite big books of all time, and in general just one of my favourite books, is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. I love this book. It is set in York, and it's about magicians and bringing magic back to England. It is written in the style of like an 18th century, like late 18th century, early 19th century novel. The characterisation is amazing. There is nothing I don't love about this novel. Another recommendation would also be The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. That book is still at my home with my mum, and that is another huge book. Again, the characterisation is amazing. If you have any interest in astrology, the movement of the planets, that just kind of added to that. I don't really have I find it fascinating. I don't believe it, but the way that she used kind of the movement of the planets and the alignments to basically tell the story was fantastic. People telling me that's not how you make bread.
Probably.
You're doing it wrong. It's now just proving. It's going to prove in here for about an hour, and then I'll be able to plait it. So I'm going to go and do a bit more reading, and let's be honest, play some Animal Crossing.
Crossing animals.
Yeah. Woohoo! Everyone I know who's playing Animal Crossing has made that island look way fancy. I'm kind of taking it very slowly, as in I haven't really built anything yet. We had Blossom, and the Blossom's just gone. But I mean, I got to go out in the real Blossom today. But it is sad because I love it when it's all blossomy. I'm just going to catch this butterfly. Not with a shovel, I won't. only like 96 pages, 97 pages in, but the war has started and my heart is hurting. Philippe Sands is like quite a, I don't know, considered writer, and so there's like emotion, but in a way that like an international lawyer would be. But just like the matter-of-fact nature of it really hits me. Really good so far. Thought I would check in because it is now like 5 minutes to 8 and I'm just about to have a catch up on the phone with my sister-in-law, or my future sister-in-law. The bread looks amazing. We've just eaten dinner, which is really good, and the sunset is wonderful. It's very calming. Ben is currently next door playing D&D, an online D&D with his group of friends. Well, it's not D&D, it's an RPG, and it's called Stone and Claw, and Ben has written it himself, and it's actually due to be published soon. Hello! Hi! It is now like 10:30 and I've just done my little skincare routine, and Ben, did you have a good time at D&D?
Yeah.
Ben had a good time at D&D. I've only read about 120 pages of this, but that for me is actually pretty good. I'm quite a slow reader, and I am going to wait until Laika wakes up. If you don't know, Laika is our hamster. We have a little Russian dwarf hamster. If I do see Laika, I'll insert a little clip of her here. Look how cute she is. She's literally adorable. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know if you like this style of video, because I think they're my favourite to film. I much prefer kind of doing vlogs and going out and about. If you like this, please let me know. As always, I hope you stay safe and well, and I'll see you again soon with another video.